Madness Monday. You already know we right here at work decided to hop on top of it with individuals. He was the talk of the town. It's going down. The word on the curve. You heard me. Let me just set this up. Here in Southern California, it's a gloomy day. One of these gloomy, cloudy, ugly days. But we still decided to hop on, see what's good with everybody, what's good with the folks, the lokes. And happy Cinco de Mayo for those who are celebrating Cinco de Mayo. Don't drink too much and don't drink and drive. Because I am aware some people do celebrate it, here, even though we know in the motherland, ain't much celebrating going on. Right? But it is what it is. What up, ese bro Sha? Was cracking. My boy Sal is definitely up in the building. What's cracking, Loki? How you been, carnal? I hope everything's going good with you. How you been, Loke? All gravy? Whoopsie. I don't know why everybody texts me when I'm doing a live. What's cracking like an angel? How's your day, carnal? What you eat? My Jaina made me some caldo de albóndiga, so we smacked the fuck out of that. That shit was bombeezy. Sí, se el jale bien. It's been a while just spending time with fam. That's good, my boy. That's good. That's good to hear. At least everything's going, straight. Where's your deal, Trump at? Serio, trying to build a prison in Alcatraz. Trying to reopen it, remodel it. My boy was watching some old school movies and he was like, fuck it, why not? He's doing everything except shit that is actually fixing the economy. The shit that he chooses to focus on, Pinche Trump. He's funny. he's the only president that I know that needs ads on TV saying his accomplishments. He wants acknowledgement for the shit he's done. Please, guys, acknowledge his achievements. Seriously, no other president has, made like commercials, in order to get people to like praise them and shit. Except him. Can we get a commercial out there, just telling everybody how I've been deporting people? That would be fantastic. Yeah, sure. Why not, huh? You should show your penguin. So, where? Serio, the Eskimo? What's cracking like a dashboard? How are you celebrating your Cinco de Mayo? Well, it's not much of a celebration here to be honest with you, it's not much to celebrate here. Like in Mexico. In Mexico, nobody's celebrating today, It's not a real thing in Mexico, right? Just that this is more of a American Mexican holiday, if that makes any sense. You get what I mean? It's more of a propaganda holiday here. It's more of a cash grab scheme here. Because it's supposed to celebrate I don't know why people say the independence or all of that. I don't know why people throw all of that stuff. It's the celebration of a battle, just a battle, right? Not the war, just a battle that the Mexicans beat the French, right? It was a battle of Puebla, which the Mexicans were going up against the French. The Mexicans were outnumbered and outgunned, right? Because France had a better military than Mexico, right? So, and Mexico really didn't have much, right? So, the fact that they won that battle gave them a boost of morale, it gave them confidence. You get me? It was what turned the tide over, right? And allowing Mexico to secure the victory, right? It's what gave them the confidence to actually end up winning the war, but not the actual day that it actually happened, right? That was just the battle, not the war. But I think people, I don't know. People just don't know their history, or they get it confused. Or Most people don't even know, bro. They just tell me straight up. Like, I don't fucking know, bro. All I know is I'm gonna get fucked up. Like, that's right. Like, fuck educating ourselves about the actual meanings and all of that, huh? It's still Orgullo said, brown pride. But have absolutely no idea what the fuck they're talking about. It's actually quite sad. Good about to celebrate the holiday. $5 Taco Bell. Hey, that shit smacks. Finna go get some Del Taco? Your head is big, bro. Oh, thank you. Do you get paid double for today? Hell no, bro. You think they're gonna pay us double for Cinco de Mayo? Shit. And there's one thing that they ain't gonna do is pay Mexican double today in America. Shit. If anything, it'll be the other way around. They'll actually pay us less. I swear I've seen more blacks celebrating no mames. Nah, well, they get into the culture too. You know what I mean? That in pockets where there's good relationships, it's not the relationship between blacks and raza is not what the internet makes it seem to be. Like certain channels out there, like Red Supreme and individuals like that try to make it seem like there's this animosity and there's this disconnection. It's not like that. And if you actually come down here and actually see for yourself, it's not like how these fools make it seem on the internet, bro. There's a lot of, like I'm telling you, bro, there's a lot of people on the internet that just like to throw a bunch of bullshit, bro. I don't know why they like to lie so much. It's like they try to peddle their opinions as the facts, They try to peddle how they believe and how they feel as what's actually going on, when it's like, you're full of shit. And people can say like, well, that's not true because, bro, you ain't gonna tell me, bro. I live in this area. It's my playground. What up, Shadow Log? What's cracking like Mr. Pasta de Felipe in the casa? Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. In Mexico, they ain't celebrating Cinco de Mayo, bro. They ain't celebrating nothing today. That's an American thing they're gonna tell you. Esos son para los gabachos de allá. Pinches pendejos no saben nada. They're gonna let you have it. Hi, hello there. What do you think about Ryan Garcia's fight and Canelo's fight? I knew Ryan Garcia's fight was gonna end like that. His whole demeanor, his whole cocky, shenanigans and all of that, just already shows somebody who's not really into the boxing, of things, right? He's just looking to get paid and that's it, that individual just doesn't have the fight in him no more for this, bro. It was a paycheck, As for Canelo, yeah, Canelo's, past fights have been a little bit lackluster, right? It's because, the opponents he's choosing, right? But I get it. From a marketing scheme, I understand his point of view, right? Like, being at the top, and, winning your fights, gives you more sponsorships, more, people, wanting to, collab with your company and shit like that, right? So I could understand why he's picking, opponents that are not, to that level, right? Because taking a nail, your business might potentially take a nail along with it, right? So from a business aspect, I understand, what he does. The same thing that Floyd Mayweather would do, the opponents that they would pick, right? It is what it is. Once they reach the top, bro, it's like they really don't, I'm not saying that they lose the drive, right? But, their priorities change, right? Instead of putting a good spectacle, now it's more about prioritizing their name and their company and their finances. You know what I mean? And if that means fighting the Walmart greeter, a guy outside of Home Depot, or the fucking towel boy, while real opponents are calling you out, then it is what it is. Yeah, Mexican independence in September. Yes, it is, my boy. Facts. There's a lot of people that don't even know that. If anyone's gonna be mindful and being Mexican, at least. No. Yeah, you know, there's a lot of people that have brown pride and orgullo ser mexicano and don't know shit about their fucking raza, bro. Pero bien que están allí gritando mamadas. Es par de pendejos. Que this is for the raza, que they do it for the raza. ¿Cuál pinche raza, güey? No hacen ni madres para la raza. I swear I've seen more from the East Coast, man. Black, brown relationships, people from so Indian swears they know everything. Yeah, facts. Didn't you have another channel? No, I do have another channel. Do you think Mario ever kissed a instead of killing it? Potentially, bro. Like in the tunnel, like in the one of those little green tunnels. He probably did, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. You know, who knows? He probably did a lot of things to Yoshi. I mean, Yoshi was able to gobble up a lot of things. I don't know. He might have unclogged his pipes. It's crazy because those rappers like Snoop Dogg, YG, Nipsey, Easy, Tupac have all worked with, even signed Mexican. Oh yeah, they have, bro. They all have music with them. They have signed them, and you know, have showed them nothing but support and love throughout, you know, these individuals, you know, careers. Yet individuals that don't rap are the ones that have an issue with it, right? And the ones that are not even in the industry are the ones that have the problem, right? And then it's even worse when you have individuals that think that they can speak in behalf of everybody, right? That of their ethnicity. Like, man, all I know is that my raza don't fuck with people like that. Like, what? Who the fuck made you the speaker of the raza? My boy, you don't speak in behalf of me. And no, I don't see it from your perspective. You could only speak in behalf of yourself. You can't speak in behalf of others, bro. You know? That's why whenever people feel like, when they come and they be like, how do you feel about, you know, blacks dissing the raza, whatever? Like, well, I don't know about blacks dissing the raza. Maybe some individuals, you know, feel some way towards the raza, but to say that blacks, no. Maybe, you know, you're specific about who you're talking about, right? We would give an opinion, right? Like, if it's certain individuals, because they don't speak in behalf of the whole ethnicity, you know, and the whole ethnicity don't feel like these individuals, you know, just certain of them, you know, so they don't speak in behalf of everybody. But people, just because they see somebody of another ethnicity say it, right, they automatically run around and be, you know, spitting shit like this. Like, oh, you see how they are? You see how they are? See how they are? No, you see how he is or she. Not them. Not they. Him or her. You know. People are just dumb. I love Mario. But what about a Luigi? And what about Wario and Waluigi? Saying there's a huge racial tension in the West. Man, bro, they need to just stop it, bro. I know I be hearing the shit that they be saying. I'm just like, man, these fools are full of shit, bro, for real. And it's even worse that they actually, the ones that are not even from, like, that don't even reside in Los Angeles or the area, right? But saying how it is over here, like, oh yeah, over there they did it. Like, no, it's not. Shut up. Stop. Just stop already, bro. Dios te bendiga. Gracias, carnal. I love your hair. Oh, thank you. I straightened it this morning. Cypress Hill is one of my favorite Latino groups. Yeah, Cypress Hill is chingon. They definitely have a lot of skills and a lot of talent. You know, Be Real can rap, bro. He's very underrated still, even though, you know, he's still underrated. Also, I scoped out your recent video as a street related person. Here's how I look at the snitches who call others snitches are two types. The guideline, the who are hiding their past, calling others snitches because their audience don't know better than what still acting. Then there's guys like 6ix9ine who admit that they're snitches and know the whole world is aware what they call rappers. Picking it just yeah, that's true. Like that's one thing. Like you know, I can give 6ix9ine. He's not denying it, and he's not hiding it, and he embraced the title, whatever. You know what I mean? Um, because he's no longer associated or involved in the bullshit no more, right? He's has no part in none of that shit, none of that gang shit no more, right? He's aware of this, right? So he's not trying to hide it, or do you know what I mean? So even though people could be saying it, whatever, but like I said, it's not like he's trying to hide it. So I may not agree with his antics, and I may not agree with his situation, but I can at least respect the fact that he's not hiding it, and denying it. You know what I mean? So he's taking responsibility and accountability, and people can't be mad at that. You know what I mean? I mean, at least he's owning it, right? There's other people that refuse to own it, right? They deny it and they try to hide it, and you get what I'm saying? And like I said, bro, like it's not to even try to bring down somebody or talk shit about somebody or nothing like that, right? But it's just strange that somebody who has, like, if they snitched, if they have paperwork on them, they told, but yet they're calling other people snitches and wanna degrade them because they have snitched when they themselves have snitched. Is fucking hit. It's the worst kind of hypocrisy, bro. Like, bro, how are you gonna be calling these people snitches and making fun of them because they snitch when you snitched, bro? That shit is crazy. you know and the fact that I don't know if they can't see it, or if they're just playing the part that they can, right? Like, if they just pretending like it didn't happen, that people would just believe it, right? It's even worse because Gunner made a video where he admitted that he snitched, right? And that video had like 54,000 views. So it's like a lot of people saw that video, and yet now he's saying that he never told. It's like, wow, that's crazy. So he's like, and he pretended like that video never existed. That's a trip. It's like, you know what? Nah, I take it back. I regret it. I still want to be seen as thug and gangster. It's a weirdo. That's what I mean. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, well, if you don't care about being gangster, then why are you caring to hide this fucking, why are you caring to, hide this stuff, or, make it seem like you never did tell, or if that's beneath you because, what, you a real one? Because you a real G, huh? But you ain't, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, they want to be seen as gangster, but then they say that they don't care about that kind of shit. It's kind of hard trying to understand individuals. Cheers. Are Mexicans Aztecs? Are Mexicans Aztecs? No. They're mestizos. You know what I mean? It's mixed. They're not full blown indigenous individuals, right? Um, they have their roots tied to indigenous individuals, right? But to say that they're the actual, like Aztecs, like, they may have the Aztec blood in them, but to say that they're actually Aztecs is a whole different thing, right? Like, you can become an American citizen, but does that truly mean that they're American, though, right? If their roots come from other places, you'll have some individuals that say yes, but then you'll have, a lot of people that will say no. You know what I mean? And not just Aztecs, right? But Incas and Olmecs and Mayans, and and many more, and many others, right? So, and then the thing also that drives me crazy about that is, like, they try to say that they're more Aztec than they are Hispanic, right? And they have a problem with the whole Hispanic thing and the Spanish thing, but yet they're speaking Spanish. They're not speaking their actual indigenous language, their actual indigenous, um, roots. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, how could you not want nothing to do with Hispanics and all that, right? But yet you're speaking Spanish, though. That just doesn't make any sense then, because that's not the language of your indigenous roots. especially for those who be saying that they're Aztecas but speaking Spanish. Que raro. I do agree that there is some black community who pick and choose which snitches they like and mess with guys. Yeah. You have a lot of individuals that are like that. Like they'll they'll be calling other people snitches, but then they support other snitches, and it just doesn't make any sense. It's like that's just weird. Like, well, you don't get to insult that individual on the basis that he snitched if you also be fucking with someone who snitched, and that just doesn't make any sense, bro, at all. If you were leaving your mom, your dad was bossy, and you, which way would you go to get out? Well, don't you have interesting imagination? What are your favorite video games growing up? The fighting games like the Street Fighters and the Mortal Kombat and the fucking Mario Kart and all that shit. Mostly fighting games. And whatever you're trying to show, like I said, they try to bring up in politics to them. Yeah, that's what I mean, bro. It's like it's crazy how they try to attach prison rules to the streets when it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not the same thing. There's two different sets of rules. But like I said, individuals that don't live this life, they don't know any better, right? So to them, and it's even stupider that they try to act like they actually know, right? Like and actually tell someone who's actually a part of that, right? Like, like you can assume all the fuck you want, bro. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna be right here arguing with you. You can think whatever you want. It's irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant to what it is. Doesn't change the facts. I was gonna ask, cops wanna pretend to be gangster. Um, shouldn't they be anti-gangster? Yeah, but see, with them, it's just the hypocrisy exists with them too. I have talked about this too. They talk about when individuals break the law, right, and then they get one of them right, and they say how staying quiet, how stupid it is, how forget about people saying snitch, like all of that shit is stupid. Just tell it, be on it. But then when one of their law enforcement, fellow co-workers breaks the law, right, and now he's in the hot seat, he's in trouble, they all choose to stay quiet and not snitch either, right? And if one of their fellow cops, tells, right, he ends up getting, threatened and all kinds of shit. And there's been many cases of this. You can actually look it up, and you'll actually be mind blown of how many cases that this has actually happened, where they have actually the fellow police officers have actually left dead rats or dead mouses in these people's lockers, right? And actually have gotten death threats and all of that for snitching on one of their things, right? One of them, they even wrote on his parking spot, snitch. And it's like, bro, aren't you guys over here telling these people how they should tell, and that, and have no shame about it, and it's the right thing to do, but yet over here now, like, so you do get it, so you do understand why these individuals stay quiet, so you do understand the program, so why are you playing stupid for then? You understand the brotherhood bonds and camaraderie and all of that, so you get it from their point of view. So why the fuck are you acting stupid and acting like you don't know why these individuals do or move the way they move? Don't be stupid, bro. Lead by example, then. Does Mexican culture have the weird thing that some South American countries have? The phrase making the race better. Forgive my ignorance. I don't meet a lot of Mexicans. Most just. Oh, you mean like saying that like Mexicans are better or Salvadorians or Hondurans? Yes, that happens everywhere. Me personally, I see us all as the same. Because we all come from the same place. We literally were all the same at one point, right? Because those borders are imaginary. At one point it used to be all just one thing, right? And then as times and people having different views, you started getting these lines that were set and split, and areas becoming El Salvador and Guatemala and Honduras and all of that, right? But we are all the same people, right? To think that they're not the same as, is stupid. And that's just because of the ignorance and the lack of history that people, like the lack of knowledge, the fact that they don't know their history, that they come so ignorant. Are you gay if you teabag a guy? The fact that you would put yourself in that situation, I guess that does mean you're gay. Because, or else, how else would you have ended up in that situation? With this music, another one. Weird fact you might not know about: Latinos make up the smallest minority in Canada. I wish we had Mexicans here. Oh, in Canada? I actually really didn't know that there was any Latinos in general in Canada. I think Aztecs, Mayans, and Incas are the main three civilizations. And I don't know. Yeah, there was more groups, right? But those are the ones that are more focused on than any other group. You know what I mean? And mostly because we have found so much about them. You get me? We have found so much stuff on them that we know more about them than other groups, right? Than other groups that have existed. But that could potentially change with time, right? As more stuff gets found, and that's a beautiful thing about history, right? We learn it, every single day. You know, same with science. By the way, what was all right, ladies and gentlemen, my lunch break is over. We got to get back to it. It was good chopping it up with you guys, and we out.